Joyfield Charanjian here on horror movies. Why am I drawn to horror movies and what's really at play? So let's shine some light behind us on it. And so you'll notice that there's a lot of horror movies lately. And what I've discovered and understood is that movies are there to show us what's actually going on in mass consciousness or in society at this time on a subconscious bodily level. Because we're not connected our mind to our body, very few people are, so we don't really know what's going on in our own bodies. And as we go through the deep, dark, mystical sections of our lives, and we might face some evils that are perceived to be there, bigger stories and more dramatic stories than are actually in front of us when we get out of that particular path or section of our lives. And so what I've come to understand after lots of removing my social programming, which is a lot of the fungus and heavy metals and mucus and stuff out of my body, that when we go to the movies, we have a look at the position we're sitting. It's nice, upright, nice, comfy chairs, and if you choose to have the sugary drinks and snacks, well, when you put them in your body, you're stimulating your parasites and imbalances. So you're more receptive for the light to be shined through your crown or through your antakarana, which is kind of like a halo that shoots up if you had it awakened. So now that I've got mine awakened, I get more pictures or more understandings of how the director and the writer, where they're actually at in their body and what the message they're trying to get across in symbolism form. Because every scene is carefully crafted symbolism. The storyboard. If you know how the movies are made with storyboards. And it's transmitted through projected light. Hang on, the whole universe and our bodies are projected light and vibrational energy through our body. And that creates our perception, our thoughts, and then into mass consciousness. So it's different from television, radio, or mass media because it's done in-house. It's not transmitted for everybody to take it on, whether they choose it or not. It's a personal choice. It's like a little social contract. You choose to pick that movie and you go there. So if you don't like it, well then you don't like yourself. That's yours. You got to own that. And of course, because any reaction is from something in the body, then that's ours. It's nobody else's external. It's only ours for responsibility, right? So for horror movies, there are so much symbolism in these things and lots of like little shocks and beautiful things to awaken our emotions. And you'll notice that the most people who react are teenage girls and teenage boys who take them there so they can hug them when they feel a bit scared. They get close. It's nice, isn't it? And so what I've noticed within myself as I become a much more subtle embodied being is that I'll go and see these movies, and when I used to just I was a little bit tense, but then now I'm much more relaxed and open in my body, in my nervous system, and awake in the higher centers. I'll start to see and perceive the psychology. Okay, that symbolisms mean this, and then they're bringing their father back here because that person has still got daddy issues on their right side of their liver. And fear is stored in the kidneys, so anytime we react, we're essentially connecting to that character or to that scene, causing a reaction anywhere below the kidneys. It goes through there and goes, and you might have, fear, emotion, or whatever reaction the person has. So, and now on occasion, it's rare now, there's little bits of emotion left in my energy field and trapped in different areas. So, whereas in the past I might cry for, a couple of minutes over a scene or, an emotional feeling that really connected with me as part of, some tension around my heart or whichever it was. Now what I'm finding is that if, as we walk down the path, kick out our obstacles, then I might have an emotional moment where I'll just go for about 5 or 10 seconds. There won't be any tears, I'll just have a burst. And I'm like, okay. You can assess without judging, just assess and see which part of my body is reacted. It's usually a virus or a bit of fungus or something. So I go and take those herbs or take those supplements to remove that out of my body to keep my purification levels on track. Fucking hilarious. And now, and as a result of doing these things, I can start to see the symbolism of where people are at in their development and in mass society. So then we can adjust our prescription. And then we can go past the track, continue on past the obstacles, and get back on track to higher levels of love, joy, and consciousness. So you'll notice recently there's movies like It, Us, and even the Pokemon movies. There's a little inner child there. They may be an evil little child. Guess what? Notice that they're lower in height. They're about this height at the hip height, because where our dark, dense, evil stuff is generally down in the lower centers in the large intestine, reproductive system, and colon and legs. So that's the spot that's going to react and then trigger the kidneys and have an outburst. Seeing those things? And then once you get to higher levels of perception, as we continue on our path and improve and get rid of more of this darkness out of our body, then we can step into more and more light, and it becomes clearer perception of actually who I am, rather than the stories from stored imbalances in the past that are reacting to said scenes or the symbolism in said scene. And then we find ourselves a much more awakened, enlightened being, able to make our own decisions rather than feeling like we're being trapped by our past stored stories and toxins from mummy and daddy issues and whatever it is in our field. And then we start to go and visiting the national park and having more beautiful experiences rather than having to go to do the work thing, because the stored toxins and stored stuff has a reaction to the fungal microbiome network that involves our connection with the matrix. And that's a little bit darker, isn't it? We much prefer to be outside in the light doing things we enjoy for our soul. Wouldn't that be great? It's like checking out horror movies. Cool, huh?